Okay, picture this. It's maybe 5 years ago. You have an idea for a quick video clip. A futuristic car driving through a city full of neon lights.
Mm-hmm.
You want it to look real. Shiny paint, reflections, actual physics. What do?
You quit your job. You basically lock yourself away for 6 months and learn something like Blender or Maya. It was a test of endurance, really.
You're wrestling with polygons, rendering errors, and your computer sounds like it's about to lift off.
And if you didn't know the math, you couldn't make the art. That was the barrier.
But today, that whole landscape has just completely changed. You can sit down, open a browser, and type, make a car with shiny paint. And the computer, it just does it.
Yeah.
It gets it. It understands physics, it understands light, it understands what cool looks like. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are unpacking the revolution that is AI 3D animation.
It really is a revolution, and I don't use that word lightly. We're moving from a world where your technical skill was the gatekeeper to a world where the only limit is, well, the clarity of your own thought.
We have a really fascinating guide we're working from today. It's a deep look into a specific workflow using two tools that are apparently changing the game. Nano Banana Pro and Kling 2.6.
And it sounds like hype, I know. But when you actually see the process, it's not just about making things faster.
No.
It's about a fundamental collapse of that technical barrier you mentioned. It's taking a 6-month learning curve and, I don't know, condensing it into a lunch break.
That's a great way to put it. But we do need to be careful. Just because the barrier is low, that doesn't mean mastery is easy.
Right. The tools are new, but the principles of what makes a good image, light, motion, story, those are timeless.
So let's map this out for everyone. We're going to start with that big paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Why the hardware and language barriers have just vanished. Then we'll get into what the guide calls the golden formula for creating that perfect static image.
It's the foundation.
Exactly. Then we bring it to life. We talk motion, directing the scene. And finally, and I think this is the most critical part, we have to talk about consistency. How do you stop your AI video from looking like a weird fever dream where everything just melts?
Which is the most common pitfall. That's the one-take wonder trap so many people fall into.
So let's unpack this first big shift. The source material makes a really interesting point right away. It says the biggest change isn't the graphics quality, it's the interface.
That's the key, 100%. In the old model, you were the translator. You had to take your human idea and turn it into machine code, or just know which slider to move in some super complex menu.
You're speaking the machine's language.
Exactly. Now, the computer speaks your language. It understands natural human speech. You can talk to it like you'd talk to a creative partner, not a coder.
It's that semantic understanding. The guide mentions when you say car, the AI isn't just pulling up a 3D model, it's inferring context.
Right. It knows cars have glass, glass reflects light, light should bounce off the pavement. It gets the whole picture.
And there's a second piece to this shift that seems just as important. Stability.
Oh, for sure. If you looked at AI video even a year ago, it was flickery, messy. We call it temporal inconsistency.
Where the AI forgets what the object looked like from one frame to the next.
Yeah, but these new tools, especially Kling 2.6, working with a solid image from Nano Banana, they've largely solved that. You can get frame consistency that's good enough for, professional ads.
And the hardware piece is what makes it all accessible. The rendering is done in the cloud, so your own computer is just remote control. You're not the one burning out your GPU.
Exactly. It decouples your creativity from your bank account. 10 years ago, the size of your render farm decided the scope of your project. Now, a laptop and an internet connection, you have the same power as a small studio. It's incredible.
But, and this is where it gets really interesting for me, the guide stresses that just because the tool is simple, the art isn't. It talks about this mental prep. It even suggests a 5-minute rule.
I love this rule. It feels so counterintuitive, right? The tools are instant, so you're tempted to just start typing, robot, space, go.
Right.
But the guide says, stop. Just sit quietly for 5 minutes. Actually visualize what you want. Is it a dancing robot or is it a smartphone floating in zero gravity?
Yep.
Get specific in your own mind first.
Because if you type in a random idea, you get a random result.
And there's another mental layer here, which is about accepting randomness. The source called the AI stochastic, which just means there's an element of chance. You can have the perfect prompt, and on the first try, the AI gives you something weird. And the guide says this isn't failure. It's just part of the process. You're not programming, you're collaborating with a probabilistic engine.
So if we look at this whole shift where technical skill is becoming less important
Yeah.
and it's more about imagination and patience, does the idea itself become the only thing that really matters?
I think so. Clarity of thought is the new primary skill set.
Okay, so let's talk about articulating that vision. The guy is very clear on this. A video is only as good as its source image. If the foundation is strong, the house stands firm.
Right. And for that foundation, we're using Nano Banana Pro. This is for the anchor image. You don't just generate a video from a text prompt. You generate a perfect still image first.
And the guide gives us what it calls the golden formula for doing that.
Yep. Main object plus background plus light plus style.
It sounds so simple.
It is, but people mess it up all the time. They get obsessed with the object and they completely forget to describe the rest of the scene. And the guide argues that light is actually the most critical part of that formula.
It calls light the soul of the shot. Let's dig into that. Why does describing the light matter so much to a neural network?
It's a great question. When you don't describe the light, the AI just defaults to this. Flat, boring, statistical average. It looks like a bad stock photo because it's playing it safe.
So by describing the light, you're forcing it to make an artistic choice.
Exactly. You're telling it how to prioritize the pixels. The guide lists 3 magic styles: cinematic lighting, soft studio lighting, and golden hour.
Okay, so cinematic lighting is that high contrast, moody movie look.
Right, and when you type that, you're telling the AI to favor deep shadows and bright highlights, maybe even at the expense of some fine texture detail. You're trading detail for mood.
Whereas soft studio lighting would be that clean, almost shadowless look you see in, like, an Apple commercial.
For sure. That forces the AI to calculate light bounces more evenly, which preserves all the little details on the edges of the object. And then golden hour is that warm, romantic sunset vibe.
I want to read an example from the source because it really nails the difference between a lazy prompt and a professional one. Here's the pro prompt for a smartphone.
Okay.
Extreme close-up 3D render of a luxury smartphone, titanium frame with matte finish, floating in a dark studio, cinematic rim lighting, bokeh background, 8K resolution, Unreal Engine 5 style.
Oh, see the specificity there. Titanium matte finish. And my favorite, bokeh.
For anyone who isn't a photographer, bokeh is just that nice, blurry quality in the background that makes the main subject really pop.
Correct. By using technical terms like bokeh or a specific style like Unreal Engine 5, you're giving the model very specific signals. You're preventing it from having to guess what kind of background or material you want. You're anchoring the details.
So why is that anchor image so critical for the next step, the video part? Why not just describe all that to the video generator, to Kling?
Because the video AI needs a reference map. That's the key.
So you've created your masterpiece in Nano Banana.
Mhm.
You have this gorgeous titanium phone with perfect rim lighting. Now you need to make it move, and this is where Kling 2.6 comes in.
The magician, as the guide calls it. And the workflow kind of flips on its head here.
How so?
You upload that perfect image to be your anchor, but for the motion prompt, the advice is the opposite of the image prompt. It says avoid jargon.
Okay, so for the image you want technical terms, but for motion.
You want simple verbs. You're describing physics now. The smartphone slowly rotates 360 degrees. The camera smoothly glides closer. You're telling a story about movement, not about aesthetics.
Now this is where I feel like my own results would fall apart. The temptation is to just push the button, but I have to admit I sometimes rush this part.
It's so easy to do, but the guide is really insistent here. You have to be patient with the settings. Start with a short length, like 5 seconds. Set image relevance to high so it sticks to your photo. And quality, set it to high. And just be prepared to wait a few minutes. It's worth it.
Okay, let's talk about being a director. The guide has a section on camera control that I found really insightful. It says, don't just let the object move, move the lens.
This is a massive level up tip. It's the difference between an amateur and a pro. Beginners just make the object dance around in a static frame.
But pros move the camera. The guide defines a few key movements: orbit, push in, and tilt.
But the real secret sauce, and I'm glad they included this, is combining object movement with camera movement. For example, the car drives forward, plus the camera smoothly passes it.
Why does that work so well? Is it about creating a sense of depth?
Exactly. It creates a parallax effect. When the object moves one way and the camera moves another, the background shifts at a different speed than the foreground.
Right.
And that immediately signals to our brains, this is a real 3D space. It feels authentic because it matches how we physically experience the world.
That makes perfect sense. It's basically tricking the brain into believing. Now, there's something the guide calls the speed paradox.
Ah, yes. This trips everyone up. You want an exciting video, so you use words like fast, zoom, quickly,
And the result is a blurry
a
mess.
blurry, artifact-filled mess because the AI is generating each frame, and if the movement between frame A and frame B is too large, it has to guess what happened in between, and it guesses badly.
So the advice is to do the opposite. Use words like slowly, smoothly, gradually.
Right. In AF filmmaking, slowing down is how you look professional. It gives the AI time to render all those sharp details. You can always speed the clip up later in an editor if you need it to be fast.
So how does controlling that speed affect the AI's ability to process the details?
Slower movement gives the AI time to render sharp, artifact-free details.
Okay, that's a crucial takeaway. But there's a bigger problem. You can have the perfect image, the perfect slow movement, but the moment that car turns a corner, it might turn into a toaster. We need to talk about hallucinations and how to stop them right after this. Okay, we are back. We've built our image, we've set up our basic motion, but now we have to deal with the weirdness, the hallucinations. The guide calls it the morphing problem.
This is the biggest hurdle, for sure.
Yeah.
You've got this beautiful car, it starts to turn, and suddenly the back of it it doesn't look right. It melts into sludge.
Why does that happen?
It's because the AI is guessing. It saw the front of the car in your anchor image, but it has no idea what the back looks like. It doesn't have object permanence. It's literally hallucinating the geometry as it turns.
So how do you fix that? The guide suggests a multi-view solution, and this feels like the part that really separates the amateurs from the pros.
It absolutely is. This is where discipline comes in. You have to go back to Nano Banana. And you don't just generate one image. You generate like a formal orthographic sheet.
A front view, a side view, and a top view.
Exactly. But, and this is the crucial rule, you have to keep the lighting and color prompts identical for all three.
Ah.
This is where people get lazy. They'll generate the front, love it, and then try a totally different prompt for the side view. But if the front is studio lighting and the side is golden hour, the AI thinks they're two different objects. It can't connect them.
So once you have these three consistent photos, front, side, top, what do you do with them?
You upload all of them into Kling. It can handle multiple reference images, and then you write what the guide calls a bridge command.
Camera moves smoothly from front view to side view, keeping details the same.
Precisely. You are explicitly telling the AI, hey, these two images, they're the same object. Your job is to connect them. It stops the AI from guessing because you've given it the answer key for both angles.
That is incredibly smart. It's like you're turning the AI from a creative writer into a diligent animator who's just following the blueprints.
That's the perfect analogy. You're not asking it to draw a car from memory anymore. You're giving it photos and saying, draw this.
Okay, so let's zoom out to storytelling. Because even if you have one perfect, more free clip, that's not a movie. The guide warns against trying to make one long video.
It's that one-take wonder trap again. People try to generate a single 60-second clip where the camera flies all over the place. The AI just loses coherence after about 5 or 6 seconds. It gets confused.
So the strategy is just like traditional filmmaking. You plan your shots.
You break it down. You generate a wide shot for context, a medium shot to focus on the action, and a close-up for the details.
And you generate each of these as a separate, short 3 to 5 second clip.
Yes. And then when you stitch them together in an editing program, that cutting creates rhythm. It feels professional because that's the visual language of film that we're all used to.
The troubleshooting section here is really valuable too, because things will go wrong. If you're still getting morphing, it says to lower the creativity setting.
Or even just sharpen your input photo a little bit beforehand.
And what if the colors come out looking dull in the video?
This is a great little trick. You repeat the color and lighting description in the video prompt itself. Don't assume the AI perfectly remembers the mood from the anchor image. Remind it. Force it to add that contrast back in.
So if we boil it all down, what's the ultimate key to making all these separate clips feel like they belong in the same movie?
It's visual consistency. It really is discipline.
It's interesting. We started this conversation talking about how easy this all is. Just talk to a computer. But as we dig into the details, it's clear that while the barrier to entry is low, the ceiling for quality is actually quite high.
That's the whole democratization thing. In the old way, the constraint was technical. Could you afford the equipment? Did you know how to code? Now the constraint is creative. Do you have the vision to describe the light? Do you have the patience to generate 3 views instead of 1?
So the shift is from technical constraints to creative constraints.
Exactly. The tools, Nano Banana and Kling, they're ready to go. They're practically free compared to the old software. The variable now is you, the user's vision.
That's a pretty empowering thought.
Mhm.
It means the best storyteller can win, not just the person with the most expensive computer.
It's leveling the playing field in a way we haven't seen since, I don't know, maybe the invention of the digital camera.
So here's the takeaway for you listening right now. Don't just nod and say, that's cool. You should actually open a browser.
Yes,
Mhm.
action is the only way to really learn this stuff.
Start with Nano Banana. Try to make a great anchor image. Use that formula, object plus background plus light plus style. Then take that image over to Kling and just make it move.
And remember, if your first result is a morphing toaster car, that's fine, that's part of it. Iterate. Tweak the prompt. Try again.
I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We talked about how the AI can infer the back of an object from a single photo, how it fills in the blanks of reality, it hallucinates geometry.
Mm-hmm.
If these machines are doing that, if they are filling in the gaps of our own imagination for us, are we really becoming directors? Or are we just becoming curators of a machine's imagination?
That is the question of the decade, isn't it?
Something to think about while you're rendering your first masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for diving deep with us.
See you next time.